All right, boys and girls, here we are, back again one more time. Nice to be with you.
Yes, it's
We
definitely. Hopefully it's a lot cooler up there in Maryland than it is Florida. Anybody in
know
Florida
what?
right now, I feel
It,
sorry for you.
yeah, it is cooler, but I'm on the eastern shore, and it's very much like Florida.
Yeah.
The topography is the same. It's completely flat. It's old littoral seabed. It's a peninsula that that was under the ocean for millennia, and and the I don't know whether the land came up or the water went down, but it's above land, but there are no rocks, no stones. It's all sand and clay,
Wow.
and it's hundreds of miles of it. The whole peninsula of Maryland, which includes Virginia and I guess parts of Delaware. It's all like that. It's not until you get across the river into Pennsylvania that you begin running into rocks, or up much further in New Jersey.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a unique kind of place, and it's lent itself to a population that a population of settlers.
Mhm.
It was a land that was settled in the 1600s as farmland and as watermen.
Yeah.
The people who lived here, well, both sides of my family go back here to the 1600s.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they were either shipbuilders or they were traders or they were farmers or they were uh, men who worked on the water,
Yeah.
crabbers and oysters, that kind of thing. My grandfather did it all, and his father before him. Both of my great grandfathers were sea captains who, who sailed what's called punji boats. They sailed them down to Cuba and back. That
Wow.
was that was the route. They would uh, they would go down. They would how in the world they do it? They would take corn and grain to Cuba, and they would bring back rum.
Huh.
And they stopped at every port, all the way down and all the way back, basically trading. So they were merchant seamen, but very early merchant seamen. They would have a crew of two. They have um, maybe three, but usually two. They'd have a cook, and they would have a first mate, and maybe a second mate. The second mate would be a child, um, like a 12-year-old boy
Yeah.
or a 10-year-old boy. Um, and that was the life. And they would be out for like 3 or 4 months, 5 months, and then back. So it was twice a year they did this.
That's really cool. I never
Yeah,
knew how any of that stuff worked back in the 1600s.
yeah, they
Because
went
now
in.
it's like,
Well,
instant
that was
shipping and
that was really in the 1800s. I mean, it
wow.
had developed into that kind of business because more and more people moved into the colonies,
Yeah.
and by then they were states. But that was very much the tradition in the 1700s in the colonial period. That's when it really developed.
Yeah.
But here on the shore, a lot of them were pirates,
Yeah.
or they were, and in the 1900s, they were what's the word I want to use? Not embezzlers. They they uh, they avoided customs. They brought things in without paying duty on them. What's that called?
Mm, not
There's a there's a word for that. Anyway, that's what they were. And they would when the either the revenuers or the tax people came around, they would push their boats way up into the marshes. And the marshes are amazing. I saw a lot of marshes this weekend when we went out on the were we on the bay? No, we were on the Acetic Bay and saw a lot of the marshland on the shore, on the eastern shore side. And it's miles and miles of just grassland, marsh grassland. It's too low for any kind of building to be there, too low for trees to grow, with little inlets. And they would push their boats up into that to avoid the tax man.
That's actually pretty cool to learn about.
Smugglers.
Smugglers. Okay, now I know what's coming.
Smugglers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, whenever you go out there, you gotta take somebody and you gotta get some video. I want to see it.
We have some Anthony with me, and he's going to be my cinematographer. He took a little bit. I got to get him doing a lot more, but we'll start posting that. We've got a little bit. He's used to doing short shots. I haven't got him into doing like 5 or 10 minute shots yet, but we'll get there.
Hey,
He's decided. I offered him a full-time position, and he's decided he wants to do it. So he's got to give his current job notice, but then he'll be coming on full-time.
Good.
By the 1st of July. So we'll be able to do a lot of things this summer. A part of which will involve getting a club started. We're going to start a club here, and we're also going to open a storefront, which means we will be selling fish online. So I'm beginning to get my certification with wholesalers. I don't have the New York guys yet. I need to do that. And then we'll see where we go with it. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. A lot of it depends on what's available. And I've got to be able to train the girls to bag fish. Mm-hmm. Or train Anthony to bag fish, because that's a bit of a trick to it. But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Have Dina switch mics with the birds. We can barely hear her. Yeah, they do carry on, don't they? If they are, is Dana's mic too low? It's been too high in the past. But if it's too low, let me know.
If it's too low, I can always change the setting around.
A bit. Melissa from New Zealand is here. Nice to see you, Melissa. Wonderful to have you. A lot of snakes in Florida. You know, it's a funny thing. I was in Florida for 30 years, and I never saw a rattlesnake. Really? I caught one coral snake, and it was a big one, about 3 foot long. And beyond that, a few water snakes, a few corn snakes. Occasionally, I would get a rat snake. That was about it. I don't think I caught 10 snakes the whole time I was here. And I was out looking for them. I did get a few racers at one point. I found a nest of babies.
That is so strange, because where I live, we have a lot of snakes, like 6 foot long rattlesnakes.
Oh, really? Yeah, there are two reptiles in Florida. I need somebody to be on the lookout for, because I want to get them. One of them is a very tiny frog. It's about half an inch long. and it's found in litter, um, and it actually carries its eggs on its back. It
Oh,
it
that's
it doesn't go in water at all. Doesn't put its eggs in water. That's one, and that you'll see them occasionally, like in your garden area around the side of the house. Very tiny little frog. The other is a snake, a blind snake called a worm snake. It's black and it's about 3 inches long. And I want to get both of those. So anybody who can find them, I want you to ship them to me, and I'll buy them from you. I'll pay you for them. I'm anxious to get those too. I have a friend who's a herpetologist, and he wants to get a colony of them going. So I want to help him do that. He owns a zoo, a very sophisticated zoo up here in Maryland called the Catoctin Mountain Zoological Park. It's a remarkable place. Right across the road from the entrance to Camp David in the Catoctin Mountains. Just really a remarkable place.
Y'all keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, do. And anybody else who's in Florida, or they're probably also found in Alabama, maybe even Louisiana. All right. What do we got here? How many people are up? 60. Well, we're waiting for 100. At 100, we're going to play some music. We have a new song. We're going to play the new song, but we'll do the old one too. So that'll be great fun. Let's see what's happening here. What's this? Smidge, right? A smidge, right? Just smidge or smidgen, a smidgen, a tiny bit. The birds are drowning me out. They're something, aren't they? I know. 48 years old, still haven't caught a Massa swagger rattlesnake, called a hognose. Well, I'll take the hognose any day, Zartan. What color morph is it? What kind of hognose? Who were we talking to last week on Wednesday who has a hognose? One of our regulars.
Oh, I can't remember their name. That's horrible, but I can't remember.
Was it puppies? 3G remembers why he doesn't have birds. What? I know what that is, Dragstone. Worst snake species in the world. Really? Self-follow. Wow. The bride song. The red ants, yeah, they're uniquely nasty. They absolutely are. Just a bit low. So Angel Fed said you're a bit low. So kick it up a little bit.
All right.
You're quieter than me. That's not normal. Yeah, that's louder. I got you now.
Is that too loud though, guys, or is it the right level?
We will be required to dance to the new song, said Carly. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you will. Absolutely. Two kangaroos. Oh, dear. A new song, right? You'll love it. Games are, by the way, this all is your fault. This all grew out of you. We had a couple of requests last week to redo the little fishy song. I don't think we ought to redo it. Well, I think we could do it again in a slightly different format. And I have an idea for a second verse. So maybe we'll get to that. We miss you on the Discord, Gabe Czar. What else? Are there any small fish that breed and 65 Fahrenheit. Sure, there are a lot of them.
My rice fish do.
The rice fish do, yeah, all of the rice fish. Um, the Formosa and the Gambusia, both are they're fish that live on the North American continent. They live in the U.S., so they can tolerate colder water. 536. That's correct. That is correct, Kate. That's the old address. It was Venice Avenue, 536 Venice Avenue. Habistax. Somebody raised this issue the other day, and I had to look it up, and I got to look it up again. Come on. I'm just not familiar with that name. What is it? It's the ultimate modular aquarium accessory. Oh, it's the stackable thing. Yeah. Right. I think it's cute. It's interesting. There's application for it. I would like to see it used in um, an underwater uh, an underwater mountain scene where you have a rock wall going up with with plants growing in like Anubias or something, kind of growing on a wall. Canary is messing with the algorithm. More cowbell, less tweetage. What concerns do you have about habit stacks? Game sorry, that's interesting me. I'm not excited about it. It's not something I have any interest in. And I'm wondering if I'm responding intuitively to something you understand. So I'm very interested in why you in what those concerns are. Not enough room for roots. Yes, well, the whole center of it would have to be soil, and there's no flow in that roots, so there's no way for it to replenish. It's like a potted plant. Um, After a year or two, you got to repot it. Good for rhizomes. Yeah, then they put dirt in it. Yeah, the dirt's not for rhizomes, is it? We should call people to listen, Carly says. Canary Morse code. Oh. All right, let's do it. We're at 79. We're going a little slow today, so we're just we're gonna do it here. Let me get it together.
I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. I have traveled the world over, but never found the peace that comes from watching my fishes as they swim about their home. My heart is happy and I am content to sit and watch them swim. I will not be alone while these fishies are in my home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home.
That is so nice.
Yeah, it is.
So nice. We have another one. I think I've got it. We only have the two. We don't have uh, this. It's I think it's being worked on now. So we're gonna have audio, we're gonna have video for this.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. Is it gonna be the same type of song, or are you making it in a different?
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
my brain just went brain dead. Right? Is it gonna be the same type of music, or are you gonna make it with a different type of background music?
Could you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, the
No,
new one you're
just
making.
the same music. Karan's working on the background.
Oh, cool.
Let me start over again. Was it too loud? It seems loud.
It wasn't on my end. Was it too loud on you guys' end? Yes, Mike.
Can
That's
you
the
hear
word I
it?
was looking for. A different gear.
I'm sorry. I don't. I can't hear you, and you're drowned out by the music.
Yeah,
Do
I
I
can't
need
hear
to?
the music.
Oh, you cannot. Oh,
I can't hear it.
I think I know why. Okay, I don't have it upright. I've got it here, but it's not. All right. Let's see. Whoops.
Yeah, everyone else can't hear it either. Just letting you know.
Okay, here I got it now.
Father fish swims through the water
Got it?
with the wisdom.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
You can hear it now. Okay. All
Yeah, we
right.
hear it.
You can all hear it. All right. So I'm going to play it now. The words are on the right there. You can follow them. The picture's kind of cute. We're Karan is doing video for it now. It'll probably be ready by Wednesday.
That's gonna be awesome.
Here we go. It's a sweet song. I really like it. Here we go.
Father fish swims through the water with a wisdom deep and true, guiding us away from the mainstream to a natural point of view. His words like music to our ears, soothing every ache and pain. Bring nature back to your tank. Let his message reign. Embrace the beauty of the wild. Let your fish thrive. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Through the rocks and plants, the fish find peace and play. Father Fish's teachings lighting up their day. No more crowded tanks or fake decor, just nature's tender touch. Embracing the balance, loving it so much. Father Fish's legacy, a vision we embrace. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace, leading us to a better way, a peaceful place. His methods may be different, but they're tried and true, overcoming struggles with a natural point of view.
I love it. Who wrote that? Dina, who wrote that?
Actually, I made it with Dina, which is an AI program on my phone.
Really?
I wrote some parts of it because I'm like, include these keywords, these key phrases. Just write a song about Father Fish and how he's helping people through natural fish keeping. And it came up with the words.
Wow.
And then I told it, what gear of music to play because it's like I wanted something upbeat, something that was fun. And it
I
picked
love it
everything.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the lyrics are wonderful. It's really, really sweet. It just, it's inspiring.
That's one of the words I told it to do. I said, write inspiring motivational songs. So,
Very cool. Thank you so much. That's really
you're
good.
welcome.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. So I remember when we started doing live streams every day, people got into all sorts of things. And a couple of folks, a bunch of them really, got into music. And we had, Lord, that Christmas, we had 5 different people doing Father Fish Christmas songs.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Lee did, I don't even know how many songs, all of which were just wonderful. That's when Naresh put together that wonderful piece, which we can't play anymore because we got a claim on it. But we ought to try to resurrect the video because that was our video, and it was all about the original Father Fish store. So if we need to dig that out and see if we can come up with a different song for it.
Yeah.
I think we probably can write something for it. That would be nice.
Yeah, with this program, all you have to do is tell it. It's like just give it an idea. Explain to it the way you would a person. Like, I want you to write me a song that's inspirational about father fish and natural fish keeping and how it really helps people. And you just give it enough ideas, tell it enough words, and it'll go with it. It'll write anything you want.
Elijah asked, "What program is it?"
Donna.
Donna.
Donna. Mm-hmm.
Donna. There we go. Stan Pittman. Hello, hello. Alex. Yes, that was very good, wasn't it? Just wonderful. Ella, is anyone watching the new Margot? What is the new Margot?
Not sure.
Don't know what the new Margot is, Elijah. Tell us about it. 3G wants to know how many tanks Stan got. Does it pass the Turing test? Carly asks. Let's see. Robert saying Dina is hard to hear again.
Let me see if I can change that a little bit.
Hello, Surf City.
Is this too loud?
Well, I think it's all right. Hello, see what other people think.
I'll try it and we'll see if hopefully everybody can hear me better.
Yeah, I think it's better. Let's see. Silver Creek's here. Hey, Silver Creek. Good to see you, Tommy. Oh, Jacques Shecker. Hello, Jacques. Elijah. Did I give you a wrench? I think I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
I did. A bit too good, Alex. It really is, isn't it? It's just amazing. There's I think that is the real challenge of AI. Not so much to intellect or to science as it is to art.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it can write songs based on an algorithmic formula that will nail $1 million sales consistently.
Yeah.
Like this song. I mean, it's just brilliant. It's inspirational. It's it kind of reaches you.
Yeah,
With
it does.
it's as well as the tune. It's just really, really wonderful.
I was so surprised whenever I told it what to write, and it actually did it above and beyond what my expectations were. I mean,
And you
it
get
blew
to
my
take
mind.
credit for it.
It blew my mind.
That's
Maggie,
the neat. Yeah, that's the neat thing about it
yeah,
is it's yours. Doesn't belong to anybody else.
yeah.
That's fun. Elijah says it's not Tuesday. Why is NC here? It's not Tuesday yet. Missed what? Am I not too late? Yeah, you are. You missed it. You missed everything, NC. I mean, everything. You're going to have to go. I'll tell you what. Where are we? We are at 6:25. Tell you what to do. Go back and watch the first 20 minutes. You can skip the first 5. Watch the next 20 minutes, and then come back. By then, it'll be 6:45. And by then, you will have missed something else noteworthy. So we'll send you back to watch that. That way, you can sort of catch up without actually ever catching up. Or you can wait till it's all over and go back and watch the beginning. Elijah, what's he retracting messages?
Don't know.
Who's timing people out?
Elijah is a troll. Where's he at?
I don't see anybody timed out. I see message retracted, but that's a personal.
Yeah, that's just a retracted.
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't see any.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not seeing any either.
yeah, Stan, I don't think who's timing
I,
anybody in.
I see where Elijah retracted 2 messages.
Right, right.
So,
But that was on him. He did that
mhm.
himself, all by himself, with no help from anybody. Shabam Dayak. Thank you, Shabam. Very, very much. Pisces says to Erie, you missed the John song.
I guess I'm gonna have to make one of those.
Oh dear.
Uh,
Where is Erie? There he is. Oh, good evening. Yeah, you missed it too, Erie. You always come in too late. You always come in after the really good stuff is gone. What's your opinion on aquarium bridges from tank to tank? I think it's gimmicky. The fish don't really appreciate it. The only way it would make sense would be if it were a free-form tank, like a free-form pond kind of thing. Then that would make sense. That would create environments that the fish could move between. The bridge, I've done some bridges, and it's the problem with it is that it's unnatural. And I have not noticed fish using it as a way to get back and forth. Somehow it doesn't function that way. And it may have to do with fish psychology. I don't really know. It's kind of interesting. Elijah said it was by accident. Yeah, you guys do be careful. I mean, you have the power. You have the power. You must use the power judiciously. Use the power when it is needful to use the power. Do not use the power to flame or show off or somehow exhibit your power. That is not power. That is abuse. Do not abuse the power, but use it for its genuine authority. Victor, I'll tell you what I have in mind, and I'm going to do it probably this fall. I want to get in touch with the National Aquarium in Baltimore and see if I can get backstage there as a member of the founding board. I ought to have a little bit of what do you call it? What's the word? Panache. A little bit of credibility to be able to do that. And I'll take Anthony with me and we'll film it. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do that. I think it would be great fun if we can. It's a matter of finding somebody there who's willing to do it. Wrench Wars, House of Pisces. Yeah, right. Funny. Oh, Carly is saying his fish do go back and forth on a bridge. Well, very good.
That's cool.
Erie says the birds sound like Psycho. Honestly.
I'm taking that as a compliment.
Really. Oh, Erie said I heard it, I was eating. Being a man, I can't multitask.
Hey, he admits it though.
I don't think men actually multitask. This is really interesting. And it is a function of the two different brains, the male brain and the female brain. A female brain is able to multitask because the female brain unlike the male brain, turns on completely. In the male brain, if you do an EEG of the brains, the male brain will heat up in certain spots depending on what's being done or what's being thought. The female brain glows. It doesn't heat up in spots. It functions in a completely different way than the male brain does. As a result, the female brain is able to hold a variety of disparate information and actions and thoughts simultaneously and act on them independently of each other. A male brain is not equipped to do that. A male brain is equipped to focus very intensely on a single thing. And think of it as the difference between a hunter and a gatherer. A hunter has to have a single focus, the prey. A gatherer is looking at everything to see something that's worth collecting. They're totally different functions, and they can't work together. They're not compatible with each other. So they work in totally different ways, accomplishing totally different things.
Okay,
Now,
that's interesting. I
yeah,
never knew there was that much difference between the male and female brain.
well,
That's
profoundly different. Profoundly different. They're not even on a functional level. The two brains are not comparable at all. In terms of size and shape and all that, they're relatively the same. Probably no significant differences, but functionally, they're completely different from each other.
wow.
That's
That's
why men
good
and
enough.
yeah, that's why there's conflict. It's also why there's attraction. You know, we're at a stage right now in our culture where we're more concerned about conflict than we are about compatibility. So we function on the differences rather than the commonalities or the shared interest or the whatever it is that binds us together. We're more interested in conflict than we are in harmony, which is why Father Fish is here. That's what Father Fish is all about. It's all about harmony. It's all about bringing the disparate parts of us together in a way that makes it possible for us to be in love with each other again. Because we need to be in love with each other. The difficulty is we live in a universe. We live in a I don't want to say it that way. We live in two places at once. We live in a universe that is created as a if we think about nature on the earth, we live in a world or on a world in which nature, the structure of nature, creation is in harmony with itself. But we live in a social context that at this point in time is in conflict with itself. So we're and the conflict is based on, I don't know how you see this in fish. You really don't see it in fish in some curious ways maybe, but the conflict is based on self-interest. It's based on a me firstism. That's the nature of sin. It's the nature of corruption. It's the nature of war. It's the nature of really it's a concomitant of it or a product of it is poverty. Poverty on one hand, wealth on the other. I was thinking the other day that To be in harmony with nature is to be able to assimilate the wealth of nature. And the wealth of nature is more than any of us could ever need or could ever use. And that's available to us. So what we have done is we've created laws, we've created a police, if you will, or a government that is deliberately preventing us from benefiting from nature by creating all manner of laws that are in conflict with our natural being. All kind of laws that prevent us from being fulfilled in nature, from being at one with nature. In point of fact, the whole I believe. Okay, here it is. This is where it comes down to the aquarium. In the hobby, we have basically two schools. We have the natural school and we have the synthetic school. And the synthetic school, the rationale for it is that it is a better way to keep fish. The natural school says this is the way fish live in their wild state. The synthetic practitioner says, yeah, but you can't do that in a little glass tank. And the natural tank hobbyist says the laws of science apply, the laws of nature apply in every environment, no matter how large or small. You cannot take the laws of nature out of a little glass box and turn it into something utterly synthetic. So there's the conflict. And it's a life and death conflict. It literally is a life and death conflict. I use heaters, I use lights, I use air pumps, I use filters, I use nets, I use a lot of manufactured equipment. I'm not opposed to manufactured equipment. What I am opposed to is the chemical approach to maintaining fish that tries to kill everything except the fish. And in the process, it kills the fish.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the lesson I want to be able to teach. And I want to be able to nail that one to the wall. Because it is absolutely vital as a species of human beings that we learn how to live in harmony with the real world and not try to create this artificial environment that somehow we think separates us from nature. Nothing separates us from nature. Nothing. That is an inconceivable and fundamentally ignorant idea. We are nature. We are natural beings. Our very physical presence is a function of the natural world. And we do not exist apart from our physical function, except that we have, I believe, a soul. And that soul is not a part of the natural system, nor is it a part of the synthetic system. But to use the ancient terminology, the devil is at work, stealing our souls. The only thing that is not of nature, that he may corrupt that soul and bring it into obedience to him. This was, why am I getting into preaching here? This, it's all of a piece, though. It really is all of a piece. This was the challenge that Satan provided to Jesus in the wilderness. He said, look, the world is mine. I am the master of the world. That is to say, the master of human beings, of human psychology, the master of sin. And all of us are steeped in sin. We cannot avoid sin. Sin is self. Sin is selfishness. Sin is not selflessness. It is selfishness. It is me firstism. It is my wealth, my success, my achievements. It is the very antithesis of what Jesus taught. So Satan said, look, Jesus, I'll make a deal with you. I will give you mastery. I will back out. I will back away from all human interaction. And I will grant you absolute and total and complete authority over all human history, all human activity. On the condition that you praise me and worship me for granting that to you. Now, some have not understood why Jesus said what he did. He said, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. And that was a temptation, a very real one and a very powerful one. So let's bring that back down to fish. The temptation. I have more and more corporations now coming to me, asking me, giving me, offering me benefits if I will support them and support their industry, support their creations. Well, there are some I don't mind doing that with. I just got a heater from a company. I'm not going to mention the name, but I bought those heaters in the past. I use them. I really like them. They're dependable. I had one that went up. I contacted the company. I had to prove to them it was not working. Once I did, they sent me another one at no cost at all. They want me to rep that.
Wow.
Another company that has a microscopic device that allows us to see microscopic life in the aquarium. They want me to rep that.
That's really cool.
Well, it is. They both are, and I could do that.
Yeah, that sounds like that would be fun.
But you see, it's a camel's nose smelling what's in the tent and sticking its nose in the tent. And then its mouth comes into the tent. And then its eyes, and then its ears, and then its head, and then its shoulders and its feet, and its body and its tail comes in last. And it's utterly in the tent. It's a temptation. And I'm not sure it's a temptation that I want to take on. I am much more willing to trust that what I'm doing and the people who are around me are doing will support what we're doing without having to go to outside influences and the conditions that they will indeed put on us if we start taking their money. Because there will be conditions. Maybe not with the first check, but there will with the second. There most certainly will with the third. And it will become a noose. And I speak as one who has been there. So I don't think I'm going to do it. What do y'all think? Let's shoot down to the end of the
I think
conversation.
it would all depend on like what kind of conditions. So I didn't think there would be conditions. It just sounded like you endorsed it if
Yeah,
you were
Adam
doing it.
says then they'll want exclusivity. Well, right, they'll want exclusivity. They will not want me promoting a competitor's product.
Wow, that's
That's
wild.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what the
Oh
guys
my
in the
word.
chat think about it.
3G is in serious trouble here.
What happened?
You see that?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
well, I want to report back from you, 3G, in a week to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, chatting humid to top inch of sand. Okay, yeah, you know what's interesting about this? I did that video. I did that video 3 years ago. Now we changed. I did the video. We kept the audio portion and created a whole new video component to it. But it is word for word. That's why the sound is distorted. I was hoping that would get cleared up. It didn't. It's from 3 years ago. The concept of mixing humic in with the top inch of sand was something that happened in that moment and was never pursued after that. And could have been, perhaps should have been, because it's very sound. It's a very sound idea. So I'm kind of catching up to myself, I guess. It's one way to look at it. I proposed this 3 years ago. Really, nobody picked up on it. It was right at the beginning of the food web conversation. It might have been a little before that. We were looking at ways to be able to get some nutrients in the top level, to be able to get carpeting plants growing. There were a number of issues. And we somehow missed it. It came up, it was mentioned, it was lost, and now 3 years later, we're bringing it back up. So I've had issues like this before where people have called me on things. Now, that's not what he's doing. He's raising a legitimate question. It was presented as a brand new concept. That's right. It was, because it was a brand new concept when it was stated. What we did not state in the video is that the audio was from an old video, but if we did not, you know what we ought to do? We ought to post the link to that original video so that people can see where it came from and go back and watch the original. And you'll see it's word for word. Well, you know what's interesting, Jacques, is that it may as well be a brand new concept because it was mentioned back then and it's not been picked up. So we're picking it up. New or old, it is what it is. And it's something that is worth doing and valuable in developing that food web in the top inch of the aquarium.
What was the name of the video? I'm trying to find it where I could post the link for everyone, but I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, I think it might have been an early food web. It might have been an early food web video. Yeah, Erie's talking to 3G. Welcome to hell. Really? I don't know if I can find it. I don't know if I want to go looking for it. Let's see. We get on potted fish. Food web. Let's try. Oh, wait. Yeah, food web. Let's see if it's on food web.
Yeah, there's a lot of different food web videos, so I'm gonna let you find it because I'm not sure which video it is.
I don't either. I don't remember.
Dragon and gemstones and ironwork crawfish.
I think I found it.
with snake. Read
I think
the-
it's called, yeah, I think this is it. Leaf litter and the food web rules. It's from 2 years ago. I think that's it. Let me watch a bit of it.
ZX would like to have the songs again.
No, that's not it. This is a cool video, but this is another really cool video. Let me post the link for this one. This one is absolute dynamite. Here's an oldie but a goodie. What's it called? It's called Leaf Litter and the Food Web. What kind of views? It's got 24,000 views.
Wow.
Not a lot of views for a video that's
Yeah,
too.
it is.
I watch something like this and it makes me realize how little I've changed. Let me bring this up and show it. It's really pretty cool. Let's see.
So clean, so pristine, so absolutely pure, with not a grain of dirt and not a bit of bacteria in it. Where in the world is there a fish in the world living in
Right.
an environment like that, other than in some crazy fish tanks? Crazy fish tanks. It's not the way fish live their lives. They live their lives the same way we do, out in the dirt and the muck. So you need dirt and muck, if you will, if you want to have a really healthy aquarium. You kind of have to wrap your head around it. And then once you do, you've got it, and it becomes really easy to move forward with that and to begin to develop systems that really are healthy, strong, vibrant, stable. My aquariums, let me look at them.
Makes me realize how little I've changed. The hair's different. Interesting stuff. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and finish watching that one
That's
later.
not the video though. That's a different one. Robert says it's strange seeing me without the beard. Yeah, that. You know, it's a strange thing. I have no desire at all to go back to the beard. None at all. and it's not for any reason. I mean, if anything, it's purely intuitive on my part. It's just something I feel like that door is closed, and I'm no longer there. The time may come when the mustache will go. I don't know. The hair's getting a little longer. Have you seen this? It's definitely getting there.
It's okay. I got you beat. Mine's longer.
Yeah, you do. You do. Sweaty dreams, says Erie. Right. Happy people are the prettiest. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Beard stayed in Florida. No, I brought it back and got rid of it after I was here. Do the Father Fish song. Which one?
Yeah, there's two.
The one we just did? We could do it again. And see once there. There's another one. Shall we do the other one?
Up to you.
What's the other one? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's Father Fish's battle cry. Let's see if I can get it. Is that it? Battle cry? I guess it's this one. Yeah, I think it's it. Yes. Here we go.
No, you can't tell I made it any. Anybody that knows me can tell that I picked this part.
Through the depths of the ocean, a man with a vision. Father Fish guides us with his wisdom. In a world full of tanks and filters, he shows us the beauty of nature's builders. Bring nature back to your life. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace. Embracing the wild and the fish we embrace. Letting go of the mainstream fish keeping craze. Following his lead, we find a better way.
I have to get guitars.
Mountains to the sea. Father Fish shows us how to set fish free with plants and rocks, creating harmony. He proves that nature is the key. Let go of the fake, embrace the real. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace. Embracing the wild and the fish we embrace. Letting go of the mainstream fish keeping craze. Following his lead, we find a better way. From the mountains to the sea, Father Fish shows us how to set fish free with plants and rocks, creating harmony. He proves that nature is the key. Let go of faith, embrace the real. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace. Embracing the wild and the fish we embrace. Letting go of the mainstream fish keeping craze. Following his lead, we find a better way. Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace. Embracing the wild and the fish we embrace. Letting go of the mainstream fish keeping craze. Following his lead, we find a better way. We find a better way.
I love the riffs on that.
Yeah! Oh, it's more too.
I didn't know it was more to it. That's cool.
Father Fish teaches us nature's beauty and grace. Embracing the wild and the fish fish we embrace, letting go of the mainstream fish keeping craze. Following the lead, we find a better way. Follow fish, we chase us nature's beauty and grace. Embracing the world in the fish we embrace, letting go of the mainstream fish keeping craze. Following this lead, we find a better way. We find a better way.
That was awesome.
Lord. Fun stuff. Ooh, rock out, father fish. Ooh, snorkel. What's that? Must have been a hit at my senior prom. We did in college, went to college in Kentucky. We did dances pretty much every weekend. And this is back in the 60s when dancing was very freestyle. I mean, it is today. It is and it isn't. It was very freestyle. And there would be people on the dance floor, and sometimes a couple would just get it on and go crazy, and everybody would wind up surrounding them and clapping. That was my role.
That's awesome.
That was great fun. I even did was at a play where it was about polkas, and I was dancing in the play on stage, and at one point of the polka, I had one of the girls with her fingers like this around my neck, and I was spinning her,
Oh, wow.
spinning her around.
That's wow.
Should have followed through with that girl. She was special. Funny stuff. Methodist, yeah, right. Not a UMC, mind you. You can tell Father Fish was a Methodist. He can dance. Really, I was a Methodist school too.
Yeah.
Do the turtle. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Millick is here. Hello, Millick. Happy to see you. Is this the Canadian Millick? Who's the master of the pleco?
It might be. That would be cool.
Yeah, it's if it's the same person. He's an absolute genius with plecos. Just genius. Millick says, "Love your Discord." Thank you so much. Yeah, it's the Discord is amazing. It's really a joy.
Yeah.
So many really, really cool people and so many wonderful things happening. You know, that we get hung up on the Karens of the world or the weirdos, but they are so rare, so few and far between. And there's so many people who are benefiting just tremendously, both giving and taking. I mean, getting help and giving help. Back in the day, Father Fish knew how to swing. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. NC got 50 subscribers. Well, bravo. Good to hear it. Let's see. Let's show. What do we got here? By the way, I've got. Let me show you these, and then I'm going to have Dina describe them. Let's see. There we go.
Well, we got the specialty plant pack that has anubias, floaters, ferns, moss, and a bulb. And that pack is valued at $150, but the price is $59.95. And all these plants are raised CO2 free, chemical fertilizer free, and they don't require that. They don't require any type of fertilizer. The stem plant pack, that's the one that's my favorite. It has 15 bunches of 4 to 5 plants per bunch and at least 15 different species of plants. And some of those plants, I mean, just in while I've had them, I've got one that's like this long. Can't tell you what the plant is yet because I'm not that good at identifying the plants, but that's a really good package. Then you got the rooted plant pack, which is 15 varieties of swords, Vallisneria, Sagittarius, Crips, and Farmer's Choice plant, which is $59. Then you've got the complete soil substrate for the 10 gallon. Now this has the humus, the compost, the soil, and the father fish supplement. This is really easy if you're kind of like I don't know, some people are nervous about mixing up things, like how you have to mix up the father fish substrate. With this, you don't have to. You just dump it in your 10 gallon fish tank or dump it in 2 5 gallon tanks, add your sand, you're done. And the same goes for the 25 gallon and the 55 gallon. And if you're like me and actually like to mix things and try things out yourself, you've got the father fish supplement, which does 100 gallons. And that stuff, it's the magic and the key to keeping a natural fish tank. Because I struggled really badly trying to figure it out until I tried father fish's supplement. His method helped me a lot with this.
So with this supplement, you mix that in to
Mhm.
your substrate mix.
Mhm.
What I recommend is peat moss, potting soil, and some kind of compost material. You can substitute pond mud for the compost or garden. You can use garden soil actually for the potting soil. The peat moss or coir or some other kind of humic material. Half of it should be that. And then the other half is a portion each of these other two, either potting soil or garden soil, and some kind of compost or pond mud, that sort of thing. And then into that, you add supplements based on the volume you're creating. There's enough in the bag to do 100, basically 100 gallon tank. So you divide it up accordingly. But those products are all available uh, through our store. The link for which can be found at fatherfish.fish. It's fatherfish.fish. It is a Shopify store. If any of you know about that, um, recently Shopify has begun requiring that, and when you fill out your address, that you do not leave the apartment column blank, which seems rather odd.
Yeah, that's
But
very odd.
so put in none or house or zero or something else that's not going to confuse the postal worker. That's the key to it.
You could put in and then /A, and that should help too.
NA good.
Mhm.
NA is good. Well, thank you, Dina, very much. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
for doing these cards too. They're really quite nice. What breed of canary do I have? Um, there's only water flowers. These are two. Beyond that, I don't know. Um, I don't know what strain they are. It's not a breed. There's only one breed of canary, but there are a lot of different strains. Uh, mine are um, mine are reds and yellows. I have right now a new baby that's just come out of the nest,
Oh,
and I have two hens. I have one hen that doesn't lay eggs anymore, but she is a wonderful mother. And she's fed that one and has raised two others. The other hen is brand new, and she doesn't know what to do with the babies once they hatch. So I let her hatch them and then move them over to the surrogate mother who raises them. I'm hoping she'll learn. She has 3 eggs this time, so I'll move 2 over when they hatch. I may move them over early once this fledge. It'll be about 1 more week that she'll need to be being fed, and then I'll put her in with the other babies. So they're a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to move the babies over to the shop, and we'll get something going on over there. Eventually, they'll probably all wind up there.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, right. Where are we? What's going on here? KBH. Talking about canaries. Eric Chartrand needs a wrench. And he says, I'm currently in a major growth period in my life. God is approaching me more than I've ever been. Fish Channel has been a gift from God that's helped me keep sanity. Well, bravo, God bless you, Eric. And let us know what's going on in your growth period and how we can pray for you or otherwise be supported. Just set up my first aquarium using father fish. Got some dirt out to find and found some sand. So that's a good start. Do get on the Discord and learn the formula. What you have set up is good, but it's only going to last about a year. And in a year, the nutrients are going to run out. You can slow that process down by building a strong food web, and that will enrich the substrate and allow you to. You need to get through 3 to 4 years. They used to say 5 years. Really, it's not that long. It's 3 to 4 years before the waste breaking down goes full circle back into the plant or back into the fish, whatever. So it takes a while for that to happen, which means you need enough nutrients in the soil to get you through that 3-year period. And that's really the function of the supplement, to make sure that your tank does not get depleted before it begins to fully cycle. If you remember, those of you who have been around a while, that was one of the major problems that Wallstead described in her book with her early tanks, that the soil became depleted. And the other was that it got dissolved into the water. It got washed out by the watercolor. So we solved those 2 problems. One, by capping the dirt with sand that prevents that leaching, and 2, by adding supplements, not fertilizers, because fertilizers are short life. These are long-term minerals, basic minerals that are used as needed, not enforce that. They do not enforce themselves on the plant the way a fertilizer does. They're there when the plant is ready for them and needs them, it'll be able to use them. That is not at all the way fertilizers work. Fertilizers are an armed man that comes in and beats the plant into submission. You will feed on this, is what it says. And it requires it. And the poor plant just starts absorbing all this stuff, and it stops producing roots. It stops learning how to reach out and feed itself. And so once those fertilizers are gone, it's gone, it dies. Now, that is a perfectly effective system for plants like corn that have rhizomes that are very, very shallow. In point of fact, corn is a synthetic crop. It can only survive in a synthetic mode. In other words, it's a grass. It grows up, it seeds, it dies, and the seed grows a new crop.
I never realized that it was grass. That's really cool. It's kind of like how they say bamboo's a type of grass.
Well, they have not been able to discover the heritage of the corn. It obviously goes back thousands of years,
Yeah.
but it is a grass. I mean, you think about what a grass is.
Hmm.
It's a stalk with leaves, usually, that produces a seed pod. And the grass, and when the seed comes to fruit, the plant dies and the seed is distributed in the soil and sprouts. And that's how it's a generation crop. It grows by generations rather than by a single plant, like a tomato, for example. A tomato is a vine. A tomato in a tropical environment, that plant will never die. It will continue to produce fruit. It'll continue to grow. It sends out runners, and the runners produce roots and create nutrients. The old stems and the old leaves die off, and the new stems continue its growth. So it's a completely different kind of plant.
That's interesting.
We have those kinds of plants in our tank. I don't know about the tomato, the vine. It's interesting. In a way, I guess the Vallisneria is like that, except that the Vallisneria, the mother plant will continue to grow and continue to send out roots, send out runners to create new plants. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same plant. It's a plant that's creating other plants. The Vallisneria creates other plants. It doesn't continue to grow like this. Like a
Kind of like the
tomato.
way kind of like the way the pothos plant, it just keeps growing all over the room, kind of like that. Like how it's one plant, but it's just like a super long vine.
Yeah, it's sort of, I guess. Except that the old plant doesn't die, the pothos. The whole thing stays alive. In the tomato, the old plant dies, the old part of the plant. So it's growing by creating new growth, and the old growth dies. All plants do that. They do it by creating leaves, and those leaves, when they become old and frayed and burned out, the plant pulls the nutrients out of it. It dies and it falls away, and new leaves are grown up. So all plants do it, but tomato's unique in that respect. It's
That's
a
really
plant
neat.
that grows by hopping. What does that? Stem plants do that. Most all stem plants that have nodules, and that's really what a stem plant is. It's a nodular plant, and that's what the tomato is. It's a nodular plant. It grows on nodules. So the stem plants grow the same way. Very different from a grass, which dies in order to be reborn, in order for its progeny to be born. Just like people. You know, animals are the same as grass. That's the analogy, the biblical analogy between humans growing up like the grass of the fields. They grow up, they produce, they wither and die, and their offspring carry the generations forward, carry the species forward. Not like the tomato. We're not like a tomato.
Yeah.
We're really not like a runner plant either. We don't create clones of ourselves. We don't have any way to do that. That's what the runner is. It's a clone.
Yeah.
The identical genetic material is in another being. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Strawberries, they're runner plants, so they're kind of like that too, aren't they?
What?
Strawberries, aren't they runner plants as well?
They are. That's
I
right.
was thinking they were.
They are. Yeah, I was watching a farmer the other day who grows strawberries in among a bunch of other grasses and herbs.
Oh, that's cool.
That strawberries are allelopathic. They're so allelopathic that they kill themselves.
That makes me feel better about my strawberry plant because
Yeah,
I tried everything to keep it alive and it just died.
they're allelopathic. They kill anything around them, but there are a lot of things that can survive around them and that break down those allelopathic chemicals that they produce, which allows then the plant to continue growing and continue creating beautiful fruit. Yeah, the strawberries. Strawberries a very unique plant. It's a plant that will only produce good fruit when it is not functioning at capacity. Because when it's functioning at capacity, it kills itself.
Oh, wow.
So by planting it, yeah, and I can't remember what some of the herbs were. There were some mints involved in that. Can't remember. I'll try to run across that again. Uh, it's allelopathic gardening, and the guy he does it on footpaths, so it's like permanent structure, permanent plantings that are not tilled or in any way cared for, that produce perfect fruit throughout the year.
That's
Probably
amazing.
not winter, but throughout the, I don't know
Wow.
where he's located out of. Pearlweed. Pearlweed's a tough one. How many mystery snails can I put in a 10-gallon plant aquarium? You could, well, here's the thing. If you have a pair and they lay an egg case, and that egg case hatches, you're going to have several hundred baby mystery snails in that 10-gallon tank. And they're going to scarf up every available nutrient in fairly rapid order and begin dying off because there won't be adequate nutrients for them. The tank probably can produce enough nutrient to keep 2 or 3 alive indefinitely. Nothing truly dies, says Dina. Funny thing, isn't it? Yeah, when we think about ourselves and what we leave behind, and more think of that. More and more as I get closer and closer to my own end, I more and more think about what am I leaving behind, and I become more concerned, more interested, not concerned, more interested in doing things and doing more and being more active than probably I've really ever been. I used to do a lot of around the house things. I don't do any of that anymore. I'm into much more kind of creative enterprise and much less maintenance kind of thing. I don't do maintenance so well anymore. If I ever did. I'm not sure I was ever really good at it. That's why my tanks are maintenance free, you see.
Right.
method to my madness.
That's it.
I I I I rationalized myself. Really, it is looking good. I've got too much valve. I need to get the valve out and get some other like crypts or sag. I need to get crypts and sag in here. And some Anubias. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to get all the valve out of here, with the exception of this little tiny sword at the bottom. Going to get it all out, and I'm going to put crypts and Sagittarius and Anubias in here and
That
see
sounds
what
good.
goes. Maybe water spray, a few of the ferns or something like that. I need to upgrade.
Yeah, my water sprite, I had thought that it died. It came back.
Oh, is that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it just takes one
And,
cell.
and
One
I
cell
did.
is all it takes.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it because, well, it's in my fry tank that I keep bringing deliberately for the baby fish.
I tell
And
you
then I
what else
noticed
will
it
do that.
shaking up out of the water.
Java fern will do that too.
Yeah.
It'll drop a leaf. The leaf will die, and then brand new little Java plants will grow from the edge of the leaves, right around the edge of the leaf, and it'll be a dead leaf producing that.
That's really cool.
Just enough genetic material left there to continue life. Oh, somebody asked earlier today about what they can do to get leaves in the spring and summer before the fall. And they asked if they could pick leaves off a tree and dry them and use them. And the answer is no. You really cannot do that. When the leaves die on the tree, they die because the tree is pulling all of the nutrients out of the leaf. The nutrients are actually going back into the tree and leaving the leaf, and that's what kills the leaf. It's temperature causes that to happen, but it is not the effect. The effect of it is the leaf dies when the nutrients are withdrawn. That also happens in other kinds of plants where the leaf becomes so damaged that it no longer is productive. And so the plant will stop feeding that leaf and it will complete the dying process. So here's the issue. If you pick leaves off of a tree, you're picking them in the fullness of their life, which means they're going to be loaded with sugars. And there is nothing, trust me, there really is nothing that you can put in the tank that will more quickly and easily overwhelm the biology of the tank than sugar. Sugar in very, very, very minuscule amounts is an enormously effective nutrient. In anything more than minuscule amounts, it causes bacteria to explode in its attempt to break down those sugars to such an extent that the bacteria becomes excessive and begins sucking the oxygen out of the water to such an extent that it then deprives other animals and other life forms of the oxygen they need to survive. That's when you get a crash. And that crash will go on until the available oxygen level is able to meet the needs of the most available life forms it possibly can, which typically in the case of fish is one. So when you get a die off in a tank, you are typically left with one fish surviving. and it is surviving because there is just enough oxygen in that tank for it to survive, but not enough for two. And the same thing happens to the microbiology. It too deteriorates, dies off for lack of oxygen. So sugar is what causes that because it creates such a vast amount of nutrient that the first line of defense, if you will, against nutrients is bacteria. And the bacteria attach it and they multiply to attach more because there is more. They have to reach, in other words, the level at which they consume all of it. So they multiply, and they multiply to such an extent that as they are growing, they're burning up oxygen. And in the process, they burn up the majority of the oxygen in the tank. So you do not put even dried live leaves in a tank because it runs the risk of creating that kind of cascading catastrophe. And I say cascading because it is one thing killing another, causing a greater problem, killing another, causing an ultimate problem. It's a cascade effect. So dried leaves. Now, where do you get dry leaves? They're still out there. They really are. You have to go looking for them. They're going to be under bushes. They're going to be blown into little corners of the garden. You'll find them. Go look for them. And they will be perfect. Even if they got a little dirt on them, they'll be perfect. They'll probably have little bugs eating on them too. That's good too. Throw them in there as well. You can go down to the brook or a little body of water. Whatever little body of water you've got, you'll find some in there. Pull them out and feed them too. You'll find them all year long. They never go away completely. And then they're replenished in the fall. So you got a whole new crop. What you might do if you're really depending on it is collect a big bag of leaves and store it away. That's what I do. I've got big bags of leaves stored, dry.
That's what I do too.
I also have leaves in water that are breaking down. So, you can do all of that in order to be able to maintain that food web. And it's important. It's really critical to do it. You really can't have a food web without leaves. They're such a fundamental component of the aquatic the aquatic nature system.
Yeah, they are.
Fructose, yeah, that fructose is a sugar. That's right, Victor. Joe Tybalt. Yes, it is not better. It is a requisite. Only and ever use leaves that have fallen. Never use leaves that have been picked off a tree. Never do that. Is the very best rule. You can do it, but you run a terrible risk. 2 or 3 leaves could cause a problem that you can't stop. So don't do it. Spencer's sister purchased 3 green puffers. Oh my. Oh my. That is the $1 million question. When do you transition a fish that spawns in brackish water and grows up in fresh water from freshwater to brackish? I don't think you do. I think what you do is you wait until you let that tank grow hard. Never do water changes in it. Absolutely never. Put hard water in it as top off. Let it get hard. The harder it gets, the closer to it being a natural a natural bay biotope, brackish biotope. It will get to the point where they will lay eggs. Once they nest, then you can create a brackish tank and put those eggs in that brackish tank to hatch out. Your tank may indeed be hard enough by then to be able to hatch them. I've had that happen with neorites. Not often. Had it happen once or twice. The tank got sufficiently hard that the neorites that were in it laid eggs that hatched.
Wow.
That was extremely hard water. I don't know that I measured it. I probably did. I don't remember. I think it was up over 400, like 500. Needs to get to 8 or 9. Needs to get close to 1,000 to be brackish. So that's not high, but it was just high enough for them to hatch. And I do remember babies. I had some growing up in there. So once they hatched, they made it. I do not sell the food web, Dragonstone. Phillips Fish Farm does a really excellent job with the food web. So I refer all interest in that product line to him. I've had him on my YouTube. I've had him on live stream. I've promoted him. I continue to promote him. He really does an extraordinary job, much better than I'm capable of doing. That's what he's doing full time, is food web. I'm doing a bunch of other things, mainly dirt and plants. And I just don't have the resources to do the food web well. I may get to it. I've got a new employee coming on board in a few weeks who's going to be doing more aquatic kind of activities. But for now, I'm not doing that. But do use Phillips Fish Farm. He's excellent. We'll get the web posted. It's posted. Thank you, Dina.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just go to his site and you'll be delighted. He's really excellent. Good
Got a lot of
quality.
different stuff.
Much quality product than I can produce. What sorts of plants will green puffers love to do? You know, nearly anything. I don't think puffers have a problem with plants. And they're going to do as well with rigid plants as they are with softer plants. I don't think it really matters. Most of the brackish plants are some of the softer plants. So, super sunfish is a tree you have to start putting slow growing plant to your aquarium as it gets older. It's not that you need to, it's that you can. It's that the plant will be able to support that. Plants, the tank matures, and it matures in the availability and diversity of its nutrient foundation. When it's brand new, it does not have very much of a nutrient foundation. And this has to do with the chelation of the minerals. They have to interact with each other to create different compounds that the plant needs. As the early plants, like the stem plants, grow and die off, they're releasing into that soil some of those compounds that they've put together in their life cycle that provides a wider range of nutrient for other plants that require those kinds of nutrients. So as the tank becomes older, as more things live in it, grow, thrive, and die in it, it becomes more capable of supporting a wider divergency of plant life, animal life too, for that matter, but particularly plant life. So you really cannot grow a nubius in a brand new plant. It's not going to be able to get any nutrients. And yet, similarly, you can't grow views in a brand new plant. It doesn't have the nutrients. Now you can artificially introduce things, but that is a kind of suicide, because at a given point in time, that plant is going to die because because the nutrients run out, and it's got no way of being able to assimilate more needful nutrients. So you want to let this be a growth process. A 20-year tank is a tank that's just becoming mature enough to be able to do things that it could never do before. Think of it that way. Think of it this way. When you're 20, you can do more than you could do when you were 10. When you're 30, you can do more than you could when you were 20. When you're 50, you can do more than you could do when you're 30. And when you're 84, you little suckers, Melanie Moran, Wednesday night show and tell. Absolutely. That'll be fun. Show and tell. We never do show and tell on Sunday. We do show and tell on Wednesday. We give 2 full hours to it. So there's plenty of time for you to get up there and be able to show off. And if you go like the show, we got time to show it. So we're happy to have you. How are we doing time-wise? We got 15 minutes. 15 minutes to kill.
Don't seem like we've been on that long.
Noah's Ark of the food web that can be used to seed other tanks. Yeah, you know what, Fluorescent Beta? Absolutely right. Absolutely right. If you seed your new tanks with substrate and surface material from your oldest tank, including some water, you will bring a rich fauna bed, microfauna bed, into that tank that will be able to sustain itself. You don't want to do it in dribs and drabs, though. You need enough in there for it to be able to sustain itself while it's working into the new material. So you don't want to use a tablespoon. You want to use a gallon. You want to use a substantial amount, in other words, to be able to make that happen. So you might take 10% out of your 55 to seed a 20, like that. How are we doing? Oh. Happy birthday. Yeah, the birds do carry on, don't they? I like them. I like them a lot. I get off on their song. When I was a kid, I had an aunt who had a canary. And I was so fascinated with that canary. I was like 6 or something. I loved the song, and I just hung around that bird, and she kept trying to shoo me up. Don't get so close to the bird. Leave that bird alone. Back off from him. And I was just so fascinated. I kept going up to his cage. She disinherited me.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Refused to allow me to come back in her home because her bird stopped singing. And she blamed me for frightening it by getting too close to the cage.
That's insane.
She might have been right. I mean, might have been.
Right.
But I do. I mean, these birds know me, so it's not like I'm a stranger.
Yeah.
And I was a stranger, so she could have been right. May very well have been right. I may have scared the bird into not singing. She only had the one male. She didn't have a female, so she had nobody for him to sing to.
That may have been the problem.
Well, he sang. Yeah, may have been. He sang to her, I'm sure, and I scared him off the game. I guess I don't know. But it did not intimidate me, mind you.
Good.
Not a bit of it. She was kind of a, one should not speak ill of the dead. She was an old maid aunt. And she was an old maid aunt who was thin and tall and kind of rigid and cold, not a friendly person. She had a sister who was also an old maid aunt and a brother who was a confirmed bachelor. The three of them grew up together, grew old together, and died. All in the same house over the life of their entire lives. The
Wow.
house they were born in is the house they died in.
Wow.
These were members of my father's mother's family. My father's mother was probably the sweetest, most gentle, most loving person one could ever know. She was deaf, had been deaf since early childhood. She was obese. She weighed about 300 pounds. It was a glandular problem. They finally discovered what the problem was. They put her on a treatment program. They said if she survives this treatment, she'll be a new person. She did not survive the treatment. She was in her mid-50s by then. Tell you a wonderful story about her. She was a world-class cook. My mother used to say she could imagine, Annie was her name, as a little kid watching her mother cook and just studying everything she did and learning everything. Because she was a meticulous cook who could just do amazing things. She had an old baker's, I don't even know what they're called, a baker's cabinet.
Oh, wow.
These had a flour mill in one side, glass door in the middle, wooden door on both sides, a porcelain counter that pulled out to make it bigger so you could work dough. It was a baker's table. I saw one in an antique store recently. I'm sure hers is long gone. I'll have to ask her she has a granddaughter who lives down near me if she knows anything about it. She might well. Anyway, the story is a great one. My grandmother carried a large black purse. It was big, a big black purse, had a shoulder strap on it. She wore it shoulder strap with her arm clamped around it. And that's where it stayed. When she was home, she would put it under her chair. When she went to bed, it went under the bed. The rest of the time, when she was out and about, it was clamped under her arm. Every Friday, she would go shopping. She went to Lexington Market. Any of you old Baltimoreans know what that is. It was the most special, remarkable place in the world. It was a very large market of farmers and producers, food producers, who came in. It operated on the weekends for years and then became a 7-day-a-week thing. Now it's pretty well commercialized. She would go in and she would pick out a live chicken, have the chicken killed and dressed. She would pick out other foods, live foods, and bring them all home. That was Friday. That was on Friday. She would spend all day Saturday preparing the Sunday meal.
Wow.
We would drive up from Odenton to Baltimore, where they lived, every Sunday early afternoon, have dinner, and then my father and his father would go off to church, which was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we had this magnificent dinner at a formal dinner table with silver and china. She insisted on silver and china. I still have the silver set from there, her silver set. It was just, as a little kid, you don't appreciate it. But as I've gotten older, I realized it was an utter blessing. So here's this big black pocketbook. For years, this went on with the big black pocketbook. Finally, one day, her daughter, Adelaide, Ads, we called her, Adelaide, said, "Mom, what's in the bag?" She said, "My money." "What do you mean? What do you mean?" "My money." Turns out, James, her husband, would come home with his pay envelope. This is before checks. He had the money in a pay envelope. He gave her the pay envelope. She would give him back what he needed for the week to take he didn't own a car, to take the trolley to work, to get his lunch, and to come back home. This went on for years. She'd put the money in her pocket and then pay all the bills with it, buy all the food with it. Whatever else they needed came out of the black pocketbook. It was her bank. Ad said to her 20 years later, "Mom," no, longer than that, 30 years later, "Mom, what's in the bag?" "My money." "How much?" "I don't know." I don't think she knew how to count it. She knew to count it up, but she probably did, because she certainly understood money. So they opened it up. There was $25,000
Wow.
in the bag that she had saved up in her black bag over a period of about 30 years on his pittance of a salary, working as a printer in a print shop.
Wow, that's amazing.
The same job, working on the same machine for 60 years. He left that job when they shut the plant down. He got that job when he graduated from high school and married Anna. They raised 3 children on that job and out of that black pocketbook. They took the money, they bought a house. They've been paying rent all those years. They bought a house.
Wow.
A nice house in Arbutus, where they lived for another 10 to 15 years until Annie died. And then when she died, James really did not want to live anymore. He went to live with my father's brother, lived with him for 1 year. And on the 1-year anniversary, he went around and visited his friends, his step friends, and forgave their debts. He used to loan little bits of money to people. Forgave the debts, came home, laid out all of his papers on the bed, laid down, and died. on the 1 year anniversary of Annie's death.
Wow.
He was that kind of person.
Yeah.
He, as a young man, his teeth were, he had bad teeth. He never once went to a dentist. Never once had anyone help him. If a tooth went bad, he removed it. He pulled his own teeth.
I've
One
known
by
folks in my
one,
family that did
no
that too.
none of them were left. He pulled every tooth out of his head. And then his gums became so hard because he chewed with them.
Yeah.
His gums became like teeth. Now, he had to, Lena would cut his meat in little pieces.
Hmm.
He would eat everything anybody else ate. He would eat steak. He chewed it with his gums. They had to be tiny pieces.
Wow. Yeah. That had to hurt.
He
But
was about 5'10", weighed about 100, maybe 110 pounds, all muscle, solid, hard as a nail, and as sweet and gentle as Annie.
oh,
Amazing people,
yeah.
just amazing people.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Father Fish.
Yeah, I've been thinking about him and my father lately, and hearing the promise that I'm going to be able to get back in the chain with them. I miss them dearly.
Don't worry, you will be. You'll be right there with them.
I'm looking forward to it. I think that should have run us down about 2 minutes. Any other comments here? Let's see.
See what we got.
Yeah, they don't care what we're talking about. Doesn't mean a thing. They carry on. If we were not here at all, wouldn't make a bit of difference. Victor's thanking Dina. Yes, thank you, Dina. Absolutely.
Oh,
Fluorescent better.
you're welcome.
Did I get fluorescent better and red? I did not. I need to do that. Shanar. That is moderator. Everyone gets a wrench because we are all equal here, with the exception of the few who are more equal than others. But we're all equal.
That's it.
We guarantee equality of opportunity. Somebody asked me today about the importance of diversity. If it's important in a fish tank, why is it not important in society? And my answer was and is equality is important in all venues. The equality of opportunity is critical. The equality of outcome is abomination because it denies the worth and value of those who achieve. If you choose to blow your life, throw it away, achieve nothing of any significance whatsoever, that is your choice, and you reap the just rewards of that. You have nothing coming from those who have chosen to spend their lives in achievement. They owe you that much, that much. Don't demand what you have not earned. Such is the corruption of our culture. And by God, I'm going to turn it around before I die. That's my promise. I'm going to turn it around before I'm gone. Love you all.
Love you guys.
Bye for now.
Bye.